It's your favorite Compas, and this is your Super Bowl LVII Takeaways episode. You know we have plenty to say about the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, it's been a rough year for the city of Philadelphia after 3 losses. But man, that game had everything from a pregnant Rihanna performing to midair to excitement from both quarterbacks. Now the Super Bowl is over, it has us thinking, what is next in the NFL calendar year? But before we move forward, that reminds me, Gilberto, don't you have a question for the viewers and the listeners?
Oh yeah, I have a question, but more of a request on this podcast here, Compas on the Beat. We do the takeaways, but I want to ask you, the listeners and viewers of Compas on the Beat, what is your takeaway of Super Bowl 57? Is it Jalen Hurts' big fantastic game?
What?
Is it no sacks from
What?
the Eagles?
What?
Okay. The Rocky statue curse is over.
What?
Okay. James Bradbury holding on to Juju Smith-Schuster.
¿Qué?
And okay, and una más. What about Patrick Mahomes being one of the best quarterbacks of all time? Fernando?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, Gilberto, and thanks to the listeners and the viewers of Compas on the Beat. We got to 750 subscribers, but let's keep it going. Let's keep on moving that train, moving it on up to the road. We're on the road to 1K. But first, Dan and Daygo has a few things to say. Welcome, one. Welcome all to another glorious Wednesday. You already know what it is. It's not Dan in Arizona anymore. It's Dan and Daygo coming to you from the Daygo. So just real quick, before we get to your favorite program, because you already know hump day doesn't mean you're one day closer to the weekend. It means that another episode of your favorite program, Compas on the Beat, has just officially dropped. And by the way, let me come to you real quick and tell you some of the new cool stuff we got going on. Look at this. Look at this little hoodie right here. Got right there, Compas on the Beat. Look, what is this? We got some hats. Look at that thing. Wow. And if you think that's it, we got a little bit more. We got shirts for you also. I'll cover up the camera, no big deal. You can stand and not look at my smiling face for a second. If you want any of this Compas merch, just get in the comments, add us, tweet us, Instagram us, whatever. Find a way to reach out to us and let us know if you want some of this Compas swag. We're growing here. You already know it's like that graph. We're on the way up. That's all we do here. So don't be the stooge that shows up with your buddies at a bar or wherever, wearing some generic random stuff. Get some merch from your favorite Compas, from your favorite program. But anyway, on to the program. We got your Super Bowl takeaways. We got some stories from that stooge, that scumbag, Gilberto! Telling you a few life updates with him, so that's always interesting. You know, we got the witty banter back and forth. We got it all. We got it all. We get into all the NFL storylines moving into the offseason also. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, be a Compa, tell a Compa. But it's time to get to the best damn program in all the universe. From all the way across the hallway. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. He will be telling you where he is next. But that is Gilberto Manzano. Obviously, he covers certain things. I can't describe him right now, but he will after I ask him. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I was kind of hoping you would deliver the new jokes. I want to hear your introduction, so let me say it, and then you got to do it again because I got to hear it.
All right.
Tag team partners from Yes, if you're probably following me on Twitter, on Instagram, or even TikTok.
What?
I am now an NFL staff writer for Sports Illustrated. That's pretty cool to say. So now I need to hear you, Fernando, say it and give me a proper introduction to your boy.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. He covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? That was perfect. Thank you for doing that. See, you work on the fly. That's why you're a pro. But yeah, Fernando, it's been a pretty emotional a few days. I announced it on
How many
Monday.
times until I butcher that? How long do you think? Because I'm telling you, that hit at the tip of my
Well, yeah,
tongue.
you got a couple of S's in there, but it's easier because you have one less to mention. I was OC registered LA
Yeah,
Daily News. Quick
yeah.
shout out to them because I had a great 4 years there, and it was a step for getting to this step. So yeah, no, it's a big accomplishment. I've been enjoying it with my family and friends, as you've been knowing for a couple of weeks. But it's been, I had to keep it a secret for a while, which I kind of hate because it proves Dan Daygo right that I'm a diva looking for attention. But no, finally I got to announce
And
it,
you're
and I
Mexican.
hate
You
the
like
whole.
cheese milk.
I guess the whole goodbye thing, and then doing a post for new job, and I feel kind of like self-centered, but everybody's been so kind, from old coworkers to new coworkers to people who just kind of stumble on the post and they're following me on Twitter. So thank you everybody for all the comments. I'm trying to get to everybody. I will do my best, Fernando, but if I didn't, thank you for the love.
When I came back from South Bend, I mean, I obviously the colleagues and then the friends that you meet, like the obviously that hits you, but it's like when the Charger fans, when the NFL fans are like, "Oh my God, like we missed you. It's crazy that you're not here. That you, it's great to have you back." Stuff like that, like that when it's like fans and stuff, like that's really, I think that's the coolest, just because you see who you kind of impact. Like we know some, like we know Karen, we know some of those fans, but we don't know all the fans. And for some fans to like hit you up and be like, "Hey, like." I'm still rocking with you, even though you left, or even this, or even that. Like, I think that's pretty amazing, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and like with the Chargers followers, like I lost a few, but not that many, and it stayed steady. You would think people are like, oh, well, I don't want to hear any Rams coverage. So, now I have Charger fans, Rams fans, even Raider fans from back in the
Compas
day.
fans.
Compas, obviously, and then now people, like I mentioned, stumbled on the post, and like I just mentioned the Mexican flag, and there's an emoji, and like, oh, look at that, a person that looks like me working for SI. I think that's the biggest part there, to get there, because I wanted to write something fancy in the tweet or the IG post, but I'm like, if you know my journey, I don't need to say. But it's also nice to share your story to people who are probably in the same situation as you. So I try to do like a combination where, like, I'm emotional. It was a long road, but I don't want to waste so many characters here on Twitter. So if you're seeing this video, you want to reach out to me to hear my side, I would love to share it. But for those that know, they know how long of a past it's been, from covering high school, to, being part-time at NFL.com, to grinding late nights on the weekends to cover small boxing shows in Las Vegas, to traveling to LA, covering the Chargers, covering the Rams. So it's a little step, and now it's the full NFL landscape. And there was points for him where I thought, my goal is to become a national reporter, cover the NFL. And I got kind of like, okay, is it going to happen? Is it not? The money stinks in this job. Should I quit? But honestly, this podcast kept me going and going through that situation. So for me, it's been beneficial to do this podcast with you.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, and that's the thing, is that I kind of feel like you and I lean on each other a little bit, because like there's times where I get frustrated, there's times where you get frustrated, and it's like, well, what's next? Like, why are we still stuck in these? And then you and I kind of talk each other through that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's been really beneficial, because I mean, there is times where you get stuck, and sometimes you don't have somebody to lean on. Like, obviously your family's gonna tell you stuff, but it's like, but you haven't been, like, they haven't been in this role where it's like covering doing what we're doing and stuff. So it's cool to have somebody that obviously that you and I are in this together and everything, and we see each other, and it's like, oh, one of us climbs one ladder, well, here goes the next one, and it's like boom boom, like that video of the firemen that keep on helping each other raise
Yeah.
the ladder and everything. That's
Yeah,
kind of
you
how
might
this
fall
goes. So it's
sometimes, but you get a little push up.
exactly,
And for
exactly.
Fernando, I think I mentioned this to you before, and if I didn't, I'll say it right now. But it wasn't for you sharing this link to this job, I would never have applied. I probably would never seen it, because when you sent me the link, I was just starting the Rams beat reporter job, and I was focused on that, and covering that team and starting the season. So you had my back. You shared the link, so a big credit to you, and thank you for that. So that's the way we should do it. Just help each other out. Hey, this might be a good job for
Yeah.
you. You should check that out. So I appreciate you, man.
No, no, no. I mean, that's just me. I mean, you're the one that obviously nailed all the interviews and everything. I just gave you that little push, but I mean, that's just because I see how talented you are and everything, and I know how good you would be in this job. So, and obviously I've met Albert Breer a couple of times, and I've met some of the guys there at MMQB, and they're good people. So I think you're gonna kill it there, and obviously we'll see what's next. But it's awesome that you're starting this new journey, and obviously you're only a day or two in, but I'm definitely proud of you. I'm definitely excited for you, and this is just the first of many, because obviously we have and that's why I tell people, like, we have a long ways to go. Like, the things that we dream about, and obviously we've said to each other. I mean, there's just another small step into the bigger plan that obviously we want to do with this. But definitely excited for you. Congratulations. So happy from you, from me, from Vic, from Dan and Daygo. Obviously, we're excited for you, and this is going to be so much fun to see you continue to grow in this role. So definitely congrats to you, and let's keep it going. Let's keep on climbing that ladder, and definitely, again, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I try not to get emotional, but thank you to you, your brother, to Victor, because uh, it was a nice week, but hectic, a lot of work at Super Bowl Radio Row, and then just before that, the whole year, the whole season, Fernando, to doing the day job covering the Rams, and then doing this at nighttime. It's been a grind, so you guys have been there for the start.
And it's crazy. I just thought about it too. Like, today, somebody asked me, like, "Oh, what are you doing?" A little while ago, somebody was like, "Oh, what are you doing in 2 weeks?" I have this, like, party or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, two." I'm like, "Oh, the combine." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be here for that." And I'm like, the Super Bowl just ended. And it's like, "Oh, here comes the combine, just real quick." So, and then guess what? 2 weeks after that, it's NFL free agency. And guess what? A month after that, it's the draft. And guess what? Then it's rookie
Yeah,
mini camp. And then guess what? So it's a
but there's
never-ending cycle.
there's 1 week in between the combine, so we're gonna take a week off. You want to let people know
There you
because
go.
we
Perfect.
have
There
to.
you go. So, yeah, no, exactly. But Gilbert, obviously you mentioned it. We were at Radio Row last week. A lot of fun, a lot of hard work. Like you said, we put in heavy hours. And definitely we got to meet some amazing people. We had some people that came back on the show and talked to us. And we're really excited to meet us. And who can forget the bromance between Jamal Hill, UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, and Dan and Daygo. If you guys have not seen that, go to YouTube, go to Dan and Daygo's Instagram. The video is all over the place, but it is the funniest video that you'll see out there. Just the bromance between Gilbert. I still die of laughter thinking about that.
Yeah, when I'm wrong, I'll admit to it. And there's times where I gave Dan Dago, crap for his hat or his peanut butter pretzels or his chocolate covered raisins. But he knows how to draw an attention. He knows how to please people. I don't know if Dan Dago's ever worked in hospitality or hotels or whatever, but he knows how to make people happy. Like 5-star reviews. And Jamal Hill, UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. Him and Dan Dago need to start a
Of the
podcast.
world.
Yeah, and he loved your intro too. But I would definitely subscribe to a podcast between Jamal Hill and Dan and Dale. And almost the biggest trade in UFC history happened before our eyes. Dan and Dago's cowboy hat for a UFC championship belt. But that's how what kind of savage GM Dan Dago is. And a company man, he said the belt or you wear a Compas on the Beat T-shirt for your here we go for your next ring walk to promote the brand. And that one would have really made me happy. He almost got it, but no trade, just a handshake saying we support each other.
I know, but oh my god, like Dan and Day, and it was quick in his head too. He's like, "Hey, how about this? You wear that to the ring," and obviously Jamal Hill's like, "I don't know about that." I mean, so it was just funny. That was a great interview, and then obviously, Gilbert, I don't know how to take this, but Tony Khan wasn't too pleased with you. I think he had a different view of you, and he sits down. And you tell him, "I love MJF, Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman." The AEW champion, and he's like, Gilbert, I had and you tell him you liked him, and his face, man, you could literally do a gif of his face, and it's hilarious. He just looked disgusted with you, Gilbert.
Yeah, there was the opposite of what Dan and Jamal had. This is more like I thought we were friends, me and Tony Khan, because honestly, Tony Khan's a busy guy. He does a lot of interviews, but as soon as he came to our table on Super Bowl Radio Row, he's like, "Oh, Compas on the beat, Fernando and Gilbert." He knew our names. Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Unless he did his homework right before, but he remembered us. I think it was pretty genuine. And then we were just hitting it off. He's like, "Hey, you gotta check out the shows. We're on the West Coast," and it's so crazy to think, Fernando,
Yep.
because when he was on our table last year, AEW hadn't come out to the West Coast besides like a Vegas show, right? It wasn't California or LA or San Francisco. And now there's a bunch. And he's like, "Yeah, look, I told you guys it's gonna be one of the biggest things." And then the funny thing, I kind of like, I messed up when I said, "Hey, when I went to the forum to watch MJF drop that epic pipe bomb, that's when I was hooked on AEW." And I think that hurt Tony Khan that I hadn't been hooked before that. And then to follow up with a praise on MJF. And at some point, I'm like, why am I still talking? I kept talking about MJF and the faces of Tony Khan. It did not steer me away because that's how much I enjoy watching MJF put in the work
So
on.
obviously, so I think the power rankings for Tony Khan are now Fernando, Dan and Daygo, and then Gilberto. His Compas power rankings because of that. But no, Tony Khan was awesome. I liked him. Gilbert, it was just fun interviews all around. And then obviously, we had the pleasure of talking to a lot. There was a lot of Chargers there, Gilbert, former Chargers,
Yeah,
current Chargers. Chargers reporter Haley Elwood was there. So definitely we had to get. She was our first interview of the of Radio Row. We had to get her on, and it's like because I mean Haley's around the team, but she knows the game. She understands the game. We talked to her about Kellen Moore, about the season that Justin Herbert had, about the hate that Justin got throughout the season. So I mean, what was your biggest takeaway from? I mean, we talked to Haley, Austin Eckler,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Arturo Agbanya. Which one? What's the takeaway that you got from either one of those three?
Yeah, well, so narrow it down. I'll start with Haley, and real quick, we saw Derwin James out there, and he was playing reporter.
Oh
He
yeah,
was interviewing a lot of
yeah.
players out at Radio Row. I'm like, who is this guy? I thought Jalen Ramsey was more kind of the outgoing guy, but Derwin James was coming out of the shell, interviewing people for Interrupter, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Uninterrupted?
yeah,
I
yeah.
forget.
And by the way, I gave him crap because in one of those he kind of messed up. I was like, Derwin, that's not the way I taught you how to be a journalist. And he starts laughing. He turns around and he goes, Nando. He's like, what's up, man? And I was like, hey, he's like, oh, now you're checking out my reporting skills. I'm like, hey, I thought
He's
I
like, you're
taught you a little
everywhere.
something. He's like, but then he turns over to like the uninterrupted people and he's like, he did actually teach me my skills. And I was like, yeah, right. I was like, that's like saying that you've taught me how to play football out on the field. I couldn't do what you do. And he starts laughing. But yeah, no, it was good to see Derwin out there as well. But good, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was definitely plenty of Charger stories from Radio Row. And I'll start with Haley because one, shout out to her because that was our first interview. So we were trying to get things together. And she was patient enough to deal with our technical difficulties. And by the time that we hit record, she was dropping the knowledge. And it's cool because she is the Chargers reporter and you see her out there. So she knows a lot. And every time we get her on, the listeners and viewers at Compas on the Beat, they love her insight. So we got to make it a yearly thing.
Yup.
Fernando with Haley, and the biggest thing for me just hearing her takeaways from her interview with the new OC Kellen Moore and what he has planned for Justin Herbert. And I know Kellen just got there, but for Haley to be like, yeah, this guy is saying he's the star of the show, which is music to everybody's ears, and then saying, hey, like you can't just come here and change everything, right? You get obviously Justin Herbert is doing some great things, so you can't make it too complicated. And you heard that before too, but it just making it simple for him, and then eventually bringing out what you did, Kellen Moore being in Dallas and blending it together. So hearing how Kellen is thinking through Haley's perspective was pretty cool for me to hear. But we also had plenty of others. Like we had Austin Eckler too, Fernando.
Yeah, no, we had Austin Eckler on. Austin was interesting because I know he caught a little bit of flack later this week he was on Undisputed before he jumped on with us, Gilbert. On Undisputed, I guess Skip Bayless was kind of ripping he was ripping Justin
Oh
Herbert,
yeah.
saying that he wasn't clutch, that he should have won the game. And fans thought that Austin kind of like took his foot off the gas and didn't defend Justin. But with us, I mean, he was talking about how the team was frustrated this year with hearing all the hate about Justin Herbert, and that they try to defend him, but at the same time they thought, you know what, let's just lay the play on the field, kind of dictate exactly who Justin is, how Justin is. So you kind of understood that kind of stuff, and And
Well,
definitely, I thought,
what do you think, Fernando? You think Austin should be a little more aggressive and saying you gotta tone it down, Skip or Shannon, whoever it is? Because I think Chargers fans are traumatized from the whole was it Emmanuel Acho, doing the clickbait
yeah.
bashing Herbert every single week. I'm like, it
Oh,
probably felt like you gotta stop it,
and you know what's funny is that I know Charger fans are really hurt by that and everything with the Ocho stuff, but the thing is that like Austin's a pro in a sense of he's been trained in front of the camera. He knows what to say. He's not going to jump. Now, if that was Derwin Gilbert, I think Derwin does kind of, hey, that's my quarterback. You better chill out a little bit. Like if it was Derwin, Kyle Van Noy, one of those guys that's like, one of those guys that's a little bit more fiery, then yeah. Like, by the way, Braden Fayoko would have been an interesting one if he would have said, because Braden's been very outspoken on
Well,
Twitter at
with Acho
Emmanuel
too.
Acho and
Yeah.
some of these other people as well. But
It's a good point.
yeah, I
It's a
mean,
good, it's a good
that's
point,
the thing.
Fernando, because like
Yeah,
now
go
real
ahead.
quick, it's a good point because like I think Austin has done a couple of he has his own podcast. He has like a fantasy football show. He knows how to be in the media
Yeah,
where like, okay, that's your argument, and here's my argument. And like you don't have him to be like the shouter, like, oh, and that's what everybody wants, right? The clickbait. Uh
exactly.
so he didn't stand for that. So I guess I could see why, but you're right. Other players maybe probably would have gone off a little more.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's the thing is that some other ones would have said something, and I mean, but what are you gonna say at this point? Like there was nothing that he could say that was gonna change anything. So, and that's the thing. There are a lot. Like I said, he's a little bit quieter in a sense, or Austin's more media trained, so obviously he's not gonna say anything. But yeah, it was just interesting to see kind of how Charger. I feel like Charger fans are just they get mad about stuff and they really come at they came out at him. They come at Acho and other people. So I completely understand that. Another one, Gilbert, real quick. That another interview that I kind of liked was we were throwing it back a little bit with one of our old friends, Gilbert. We saw him there at the
What you got?
at
What you got? I
yeah.
knew
Look, here we go. This was funny.
it.
A humbling experience, and it is. It for sure is. Trust me, it is. This motherfucker is humbling.
Whoa.
This joker is humbling. I'm sorry, sir. This joker is humbling. Hey, excuse my French, I'm cursing. But god dog. I didn't think I'd be here, man. But it's humbling. It is what it is. It just adds more fire, to the fuel.
So that was former Chargers running back
Oh
Melvin
man.
Gordon. He had a couple of things to say. Jeff Miller and I were both there with him, and he's like, "Hey, you guys, we're two of the best guys out there, so I appreciate you guys." He even shouted you out, Gilbert, as well. He's like, "Where is Gilbert?" I'm like, "Oh, I was like, he's probably over there searching for some other players." And then he's like, "Yeah, no." He's like, honestly, like there's some good guys here. And then Melvin ended up winning the championship, and he let everybody know about it. He let everybody know about it that he won. So it was definitely interesting. And I don't know if you know this, but this morning, or on Monday, Melvin responded to a so there's this website that's called Bolt Beat or whatever, and he put Melvin Gordon put something about they put something about how Melvin Gordon's like that classmate that gets an A, that gets a trophy, and he didn't. Okay, Melvin Gordon really was the kid in the group project who slapped his name on the final assignment, but he got a Super Bowl ring out of it. And Melvin Gordon ends up like tweeting the post here, and he put a picture of him with the trophy. So it was pretty funny to see Melvin respond. So there's a tweet. It was funny to see Melvin kind of respond to that. But that's just who Melvin is. That's kind of how he is. So it definitely was pretty funny to see Melvin do that.
Hey, I'm with Melvin too, because you can't tell me like if you're in a group project and you didn't do anything, you got an A, you're gonna be thrilled, happy.
Let's
Okay,
get it.
let's put an end to that. I don't care. And then like I was talking to you about this round, like this guy, like I get like it's a humbling experience, but I'm like you experienced both. Like you were the star running back on a team that was one of the faces of the franchise for what 4 to 5 years,
Yep,
and
yep,
then you
yep.
come out with the Super Bowl title. That's a pretty nice career to me. I get the whole blunder with the holdout. He still made nice money. There's a lot of what he could, what if, or what you could have done better, but don't live in regrets. Enjoy the Super Bowl. So, shout out to Melvin, because I always respected Melvin Gordon for talking to the media.
Always.
He always spoke honestly. I remember in Tennessee when he fumbled 3 times or whatever the heck it was. He spoke to every reporter individually. I'm never gonna forget that. Standing up and facing the music, and he's an honest guy. Like, that's what you want, right? As a reporter, you want honest comments for you. And real quick, Fernando, I thought it was cool that he remembered you. You remember Jeff Miller.
Yeah.
At one point, I saw you interviewing him, and I was gonna go over it, but I'm not gonna crash your interview. So I'm glad. I'm disappointed I missed it, but I'm glad that didn't bomb your interview, because it was a great interview and good soundbite. And for him to give you that energy, that shows he remembers you, he trusts you, and you guys were having fun with it.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him on. I talked to him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to jump on with you guys." So that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool to see him. We also talked to Linval. Go check out all these interviews.
Yeah.
It's on Compas on the Beat. It's on What's Up Bullets. We talked to Linval Joseph, Kaiser White, Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen is supposedly about to be named the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. So that's gonna be interesting to see pretty soon. That's going to be pretty cool. We'll be in Indy in a couple of weeks, so hopefully we'll see our compa out there for the combine. So that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, go guys. Honestly, go check out all these interviews. These interviews are honestly great. They were a lot of fun. We did get a lot of good stuff, Chargers wise. So definitely some really good stuff. So don't forget to go check them out. Gilbert, is it time to go on to the next thing?
Now, one more thing, because you promoted the channel here, because I also love the engagement and the views from Compas and the LAB. So might as well promote the merch here that we have. So if you want a hoodie here, let's Compas on the Beat hoodie. I know Dan and they already promoted, but again, I'm gonna try to get this on a website soon. I'm still trying to learn how to sell products here. But just put a comment on the video saying, "Hey, I'm interested in a hoodie, a shirt, a hat." Whatever Dan and Daygo said at the beginning. So check that out. There's a free plug here for Compas and LAB, because it's one of our most viewed segments on the channel.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, good stuff. Definitely awesome hoodies. Dan and Daygo, you were rocking it last week, so definitely very comfortable. Awesome hoodies. So I can't wait to see more people rocking with those. But now, Gilbert, it is time for Compas on the NFL beat. Gilbert, what was your biggest takeaway from Super Bowl LVII?
Yeah, I was reading the rundown that we had, Fernando. By the way, shout out to Victor Producer for all the work he did last week and all the work he did in his first season on Compas on the Beat Network. But we gave him a week off. He'll be back soon. But shout out to him. So we were doing the rundown this week, and I know a lot of the questions we had were about quarterbacks, and I'm going to sound repetitive, but I want to give Jalen Hurts his credit, man. I think Jalen Hurts is the truth. This guy is not just a game manager or a running first quarterback. This guy's an offensive weapon. He knows how to pair the athleticism with throwing down the field. Fernando, those throws with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they got to a point where Jalen Hurts was taking this team on his back. And I know he messed up with the fumble, and that was a costly one, but they still got a 10-point lead after that. And for him to tack downfield and then know when to run, that for me was okay. I'm down. I'm done with doubting Jalen Hurts. This guy's a real weapon. And I don't know if we want to debate it, but the closest we have to a Jalen Hurts in the NFL of pairing the throw with athleticism is Lamar Jackson. I don't know how far we could get to that comparison there, but I am finally taking you seriously. Jalen Hurts, you are a real deal. You're not a game manager, and he's in a great situation as well, but he's doing his part.
I think Jalen has a better arm and a better location for his passing than Lamar Jackson.
So is that a fair statement to say that Jalen
Hurts? No, I
think
it's fair.
Lamar Jackson category?
Yeah. No. The thing is, and my question is it sustainable? Because yesterday he took some hits, and I'm like, dude, like I understand running, and I have the same frustration with Josh Allen. I have the same frustration with Lamar Jackson. They're taking unnecessary hits that they shouldn't on these design runs, but credit is to Jalen Hurts. Some of those throws, man, the one that A.J. Brown, holy crap, like that touchdown pass That was a really good one. But
Credit to AJ Brown too
yeah.
for tracking that thing, man.
Yeah, no, for real. I know Gilbert was giving me crap for this when he before we started. He's like, is your takeaway really this again?" Yeah. Andrew Reid is a genius. The guy literally, and it's funny because I remember everybody during his Philly days would crap on him. They would be all over him, and he got a lot of flack in Philly, but in Philly he couldn't get it done because he just didn't have the quarterback to do it. Now he does have the quarterback to do it, to do what kind of his play designs are. But man, he gave two wide open. Patrick Mahomes threw Kadarius Toney's way once and Sky Moore's way once. They both were completed wide open passes, and they both walked into the end zone. The play to was it Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore? One of them. He comes. So they have Travis Kelce in the slot, and Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore, I can't remember which one it was, comes into motion, fakes like he's going to come inside underneath Travis Kelce, jumps back out, and both Darius Slay and I think it was Maddox, they both double team Travis and left this guy wide open. And it's like, dude, I understand. I'm going to sound a little petty, and I don't care. I understand you want to go for the Sean McVay tree and all this innovative. The mastermind is right there. Andy Reid is the guy that people should be trying to copy his kind of style of offense. Now, it doesn't mean going and getting Eric Bieniemy or anything like that. I'm saying when you talk about getting, I'm not talking about even getting coaches from his tree. I'm talking about when you see his play designs. I don't know how the hell people don't go and try and copy something like that. But I mean, I guess to each their own. But Andy Reid's play design is incredible. He's showing you exactly what you need to be able to do. And look, Tyreek Hill's not there. And for all the people that called me a hater for Patrick Mahomes and everything, I gave Patrick Mahomes his flowers during the season saying, hey, this guy literally, without Tyreek Hill, has the team as the number one or number 2 seed in the NFL or in the AFC. He's done he put up MVP numbers without Tyreek Hill. And it's just these play designs that's the thing is that Patrick Mahomes' arm talent is incredible. That throw to Travis Kelce for that touchdown was incredible. But the thing is, when you mix it in with the genius that is Andy Reid, it works so well. And they make up for Andy Reid's play designs make up for a lot of the discrepancies that this offense has. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, what? Let's see. 0 catches. Juju Smith-Schuster had 7 for 53, but it was really in the fourth quarter where he made most of them. Justin Watson, 2 catches, 18 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 3 catches, 15 yards. Sky Moore, 1 for 4. Kadarius Toney, 1 for 5. Noah Gray, 1 for 6. Come on. Everything went to literally Travis Kelce, 6 for 81 and 1 touchdown. So it makes up. Andy Reid's genius just makes up for a lot of the discrepancies that the Chiefs have on offense, and it's just brilliant. And obviously Isaiah Pacheco deserves a lot of credit. He ran hard, and he's ran hard all season. But Andy Reid, man, that dude is, and I'm glad he's not retiring. I can't wait to see what else he does.
Yeah, Fernando, one of the biggest things is like when you're a good coach, you script good plays, and when they were down 10 points at halftime and you get the ball, you need to score a touchdown before the game gets away from you. They go down and score. Obviously, Mahomes is the one throwing the passes, but that's all scripted from the genius Andy Reid, and obviously Eric Bieniemy gets some credit too. But we'll get into Eric Bieniemy in a little bit. But yeah, you have given Patrick Mahomes credit the whole season because this was a year he didn't have Tyreek Hill, a lot of eyes on him, and to make it work with the guys we just mentioned, it's not a sexy list, but they all did enough to make it work. Like to have Kadarius Toney, who came out of nowhere, and have a nice punt return, all that played a factor into it. And then I know the defense wasn't as good, but they capitalized on a fumble. Was it Bolton, right? Who got the scoop and score touchdown? Almost had another one. So it's a whole team effort. But obviously, you're right. Andy Reid makes it work. And to see those 2 open plays that you were talking about, the Sky Moore and then the Toney play, I'm like, that's easy right there. Walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And that's the crazy part. But obviously, we got to move on, Gilbert. Which quarterback, in your opinion, had the better game, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes?
This is a tough one, man, because the numbers aren't crazy. But go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, let me go first. Jalen Hurts. I mean, I just really thought that Jalen proved a lot for me in that sense. But like I told you, I don't want him taking the beating that he did. But man, the way that the offensive line blocked for him, man, those rugby plays on 4th and 1, all
Yeah,
these rugby plays, like they just push him forward. I was like, God Almighty,
can't
that
stop it.
takes a toll on him. But the 3 rushing touchdowns, incredible. 77 yards rushing. His passes were crisp. They were on point. Yeah, he did overthrow some and some he underthrew, but the guy literally, I just hope he learns. And he's about to have a new offensive coordinator this year, so a new voice is going to be in his head. But I hope he learns how to start throwing on the run. I think that's what he's missing. Once he learns how to throw on the run, he's going to be even more lethal. But I thought Jalen Hurts had a great Super Bowl. That's why I'm a little frustrated at the end. If he would have had a minute and 15 seconds, I wanted to see
Yeah.
what he could do with that time. I wanted to see, could he bring them up the field and either tie the game or win the game? That's me. I'm that kind of a football person that I wanted to see that ending, because I know Patrick Mahomes can do it. I've seen it. I've been live to see it. I know all that stuff, but I wanted to see, could Jalen Hurts put the team on his back and finish it off? But yeah, now you
Yeah.
go ahead.
And that's the tough part. Like, we know this team very well with the Chiefs. Like, if they have the ball last, they're gonna tend to score and then kill out the clock. And why do you think Brandon Staley went for a bunch of 4th downs against the Chiefs every single time? Because you cannot let Patrick Mahomes have
No,
the
going for it on 4th and bad. No, very bad. No, shoot.
Hey, but Nick Sirianni went for it pretty much every single time when he had it. So,
Genius.
but
Nobody
nobody's saying anything. But yeah, if he would have had the ball last for what, minute and 15, I would love to see what he would have done. But for me, he did enough because that was the biggest stage. He wasn't rattled. He
Yeah.
built a 10-point lead, and then when they were down in the end of the 4th quarter, he came back down and scored a touchdown, or had a drive. I think he ran it in. It was like 3 rushing touchdowns,
Yep.
some nice passes. He had
And then
300
he had
yards
a 2-point
passing.
conversion.
That was big too. You needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and he got all that. So yes, my pick is Jalen Hurts as well. Obviously, what Mahomes did is still impressive, but I think the better game was to Jalen Hurts. And just to end it off here, like, people are gonna find ways to discredit Jalen Hurts. Oh, his team is stacked. Oh, he's a run-first quarterback. Same thing with Mahomes. Oh, he has a perfect situation with Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. But
He's
what
my
are we doing
brother-in-law.
here? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing here, wasting our time trying to nitpick here? Life is not fair. You can't get the perfect situation. So I'm going to analyze Hurts for what he has, and we'll see what happens when Steichen leaves. But you still got Nick Sirianni. Sirianni is still the mastermind there. So it could be a situation where Mahomes and Hurts are in a great system or situation for many years to come. And I love watching the Super Bowl between these two guys.
Folks, he's only had 2 days at the MMQB, and he's already thinking like an MMQB reporter. There you go. I love that. Give me more of that.
I tried.
Gilbert. No, I love it. Gilbert, with all the free agents, man, the Eagles have a lot of pending free agents, Gilbert. Let me read them off to you right now. But and they are 1.2 million over the cap. Can the Eagles make it back to the Super Bowl next season? Let me list them for you. Fletcher Cox, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave, Jason Kelsey, James Bradbury, guard Isaac Samalo, tackle Andrew Dillard. And that's just to name a few, Gilbert. Running back Boston Scott. Gilbert, what do you say?
That's a lot of talented names, and that's your depth
Miles
right there.
Sanders, running back also.
And that's the biggest thing with this team. They have depth, and now they might not have it next year. And yeah, they have to pay Jalen Hurts too, but he might have one more year, with the salary cap friendly before it really kicks in. So it's doable. But I could definitely see this team coming back, but they might not be as deep as they were this year.
Yeah, I see it as well. I think they're going to lose a couple of those players. I think they might lose a couple of those players to retirement as well.
Yeah, they're older.
It'd be rough to see some of these guys play. Javon Hargrave, by the way, is one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, who's not talked about as much, but I'd like to see him. If he doesn't land with the Eagles, he'll land somewhere, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Eagles try and do this. Gilbert, you and I have both said it. The best general managers can play around and play hacky sack with the damn cap space. So we'll see what happens there, but I think it's going to be tough. Yep. I think it's going to be tough for the Eagles to make it back just because that's a lot of talent that they're going to be missing out on. Gilbert, obviously the discussion is all about Jalen Hurts right now, but after watching his performance on Sunday, does he deserve the money that Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are ultimately going to see?
I wish I could see Hurts without Steichen, but like I mentioned, Sirianni is still the guy that makes it go there. I say yes. It's very interesting because you gotta kind of do a ranking here. But we saw with wide receivers, Fernando, where like a lot of them made the same money because they couldn't decide who's better. So
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be mad if it's Joe Burrow and then Herbert and Hurts are tied because you can make a case that Herbert's a better quarterback as a passer, a pocket passer, maybe more gifted, arm strength, all that. But Hurts has the Super Bowl appearance. He's won. He was an MVP candidate, and he's just in his perfect situation. Like, why do you think the Ravens want to sign Lamar Jackson? Because he fits what they're trying to do. The whole scheme was built around this guy, so you don't want to lose your biggest part there in Jalen Hurts. And yeah, that's the Baltimore Ravens are a different story. But I say yes, make them happy, and I'm just really interested to see what happens with those three guys there, and even Tua too, Fernando.
If Lamar Jackson leaves, that whole thing is designed just for him. That offense is going to be looking completely different. Is he deserving? I mean, he did exactly what Joe Burrow did last year. He took his team to the Super Bowl. He put up the numbers. He put up the stats. I just don't see how you can deny him that opportunity. I mean, maybe the Eagles will go to him and say, hey, we're going to give you one more year. We'd love to see you do it again next year. But next year is his fourth year, and he becomes a free agent. There's no what's it called for him? Fifth year option because he's not a first round
Yeah.
quarterback. So
So
or first round player. So
you might be the first one now for now to get signed. 'Cause he doesn't have that extra year.
Exactly. Yeah, so he might be the first one that sees the money, but we'll see how Howie Roseman wants to do it. We'll see if they come to Hurts and say, hey, if you take a pay cut, we can bring some of these guys back. We can do this. We can do that. That's what I'm interested in seeing because I feel like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Hurts may be. I'm not saying that they'll go for the gusto and go for the whole, but they seem like three quarterbacks that might say, you know what, we may take a little bit of a pay cut just to get some of these players back. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what ultimately happens. It'll be interesting to watch. Though, but is he deserving? Yes, he is.
Okay, real quick, Fernando. There's a trend now. The 2020 quarterbacks making it to the Super Bowl and losing. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Who's next? By the way, who's next? Tua, Justin
Jordan
Herbert?
Love or
Jordan
Justin Herbert.
There you go.
Hey, Jordan Love might be the starter next year, so you never know. But yeah, that'll be. I mean, can you imagine if Herbert actually does go? Well, yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see what either one of them would look like. Maybe it's Herbert versus Love, and at the next year's Super Bowl, we'll see. Gilbert, when we talk about goats, huh? Yeah, save this video
in case Jordan Love does something.
Exactly. When we talk about coaching goats, is it now time to put Andy Reid in that conversation?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even before that, I thought you could put him in there because I know it's one Super Bowl, but just to do all the winning he did with the Eagles and then being so consistent with the Chiefs, even with the Alex Smith years, to be in the mix every single year. Obviously, he went from playoff team to Super Bowl contender every year with Patrick Mahomes, but this guy's making all the right moves. And yeah, like you're right, Sean McVay gets all the credit for this massive tree that he has. And I get it's not as big for Andy Reid, but this guy. By the way, friend, I feel like people are trying to make him retire. I don't know why. Like I'm like, where did this retirement talk come from? Is it because you went to the mountaintop and it's the best way to finish? I don't know. But I never got that hint.
Everybody loves that nostalgia story. Like Peyton Manning, remember he retired as soon as he was like other people have done it as well. I think Tony Dungy retired when they won the Super Bowl with when he won the Super Bowl with the Colts. He retired. So I think that's what people like. They like that nostalgia story, but Andy Reid ain't gonna give it to you. He's not done eating cheeseburgers yet, so he's definitely
one more point, Fernando. This second Super Bowl here definitely makes him in the GOAT conversation. And obviously, I don't want to just give a list and forget somebody. But obviously, there's a long list of really special coaches. But he's definitely in the conversation. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's in the conversation.
I completely agree with you. There's nothing else to be said. Andy Reid is an incredible mastermind. I can't believe in 2013 a certain team said he's too old to bring him in as their head coach.
You like bringing that up.
Incredible. No, well, I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. Andy freaking Reid. Can you imagine Andy Reid if he would have had Philip? Well, I mean, I don't know how much him and Philip would have done well, but now if he would, I kind of give it away. Dang it, you made me do that. Okay, I'm gonna. You got me. All right. Gilbert, best, huh?
What did you give away?
I'm not gonna say it.
All right, I
Gilbert,
lost
best
it.
landing
Okay.
best landing spots for Derek Carr.
Mm.
What in your opinion? What are they?
Yeah, by the way, if you're checking this out, also check out first plug for the new job. Check out the story on the Sports Illustrated where I ranked my plug. Shameless plug. But top 5 landing spots for Derek Carr through my eyes. Don't scream at me saying, "Oh, he has a visit with the Panthers." Blah blah. Whatever. It's just me stating, reviewing the salary cap because he wants to get paid too. For now, there's a reason why that trade didn't work with the Saints because money wasn't adding up. So that matters. Winning culture, a nice roster. How about a good defense too, Fernando? Because he had those bad defenses with the Raiders. So all that comes into play, and I try to do my best there. For the best landing spot. So I'll give you my 2s, and that way you can read the story if you want. I'm giving it away here. Number 1, the New York Jets, but he might have to wait to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. He might be option 2, but if you kind of put ego aside and being number 2, that's a pretty nice roster. You know, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, a good coach in Robert Saleh with a good defense. Sauce Gardner, anybody? And if it was like if you put Derek Carr in that team this past season when they were 7-4. There's no collapse. I think they win enough game to get to the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs in
Offensive rookie of the year,
2012.
defensive rookie of the year.
That's a good roster right there. So, and they have the money to pay what Derek Carr is looking for. Number 2 for me is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also have salary cap, but also Mike Tomlin, man. Enough said there. This guy wins. He'll find a way. And but the only thing, Fernando, with the Steelers, I think Mike Tomlin likes Kenny Pickett. I don't know, man.
I think so too. And the Steelers draft receivers really, really, really well. They've done a good job for years. I'm going to give you one: the Washington Commanders. They have a good defense.
I like that one too.
They have Terry McLaurin, who he can do wonders with quarterbacks that aren't up to his standard. They have some other pieces there. I think they're going to add some pieces. I think their offensive line is decent. They have some good running backs. I feel like finally give Ron Rivera a quarterback, not Carson Wentz, not any of these guys. So definitely, that's my best landing spot for him. And last but not least, Gilbert, it's time for Compa of the Week.
It wasn't as good as I was guessing, but remember I had Juju Smith-Schuster as my long odds to win the Super Bowl MVP, and he came a little close, but it took him 3 quarters. Yeah, keep dancing. Juju had a nice 4th quarter when they were trying to rally from the 10-point deficit. Whenever he needed Patrick Mahomes needed a timely throw or a first down, he went to Juju. He was making plays, nice crisp routes. He was using his size, and I'm like, that's the Juju I remember from the Steelers because. Remember, Fernando, you were saying, when did Juju have 900 receiving yards with the Chiefs? Because it was very quiet.
Yeah, no, I definitely was like, hey, when did Juju get all these yards? But yeah, definitely. I'm going to go with Chiefs right tackle Andrew Wiley, Gilbert. He had to block Hassan Reddick all night. And there's a shout out to Dan and Daygo because obviously he said that whoever had the best team in the trenches, I think the Chiefs. Honestly, I didn't think Patrick Mahomes deserved that MVP award. I think they should have, for the first time ever, they should have given it to 5 players. All 5 offensive linemen played great. No sacks. Oh my God, I thought that was incredible. By the way, Orlando Brown is a free agent, their left tackle. What are they going to do with that? I'm very interested to see Juju Smith-Schuster, obviously a free agent as well. But Orlando Brown, you want to keep this offensive line intact. And, oh, by the way, my bad. I have to go back to that Andy Reid thing. He learned, Gilbert, what the mistakes that he made against Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay, they got demolished that Super Bowl. He learned the offensive line played a lot smoother. They're playing a defensive line that might have been better than what that Tampa Bay's was. Tampa Bay completely destroyed them. This team did not get picked apart the way that they did that time. So Andy Reid learned from his mistakes back then. So obviously I had to throw that in there. But
that's a good point.
Man, yeah,
I was gonna say he focused on attacking the down the field with Travis Kelce, and then the rest was like short, get open, don't mess around with the pressure.
Exactly, and obviously it just definitely brilliance by Andy Reid. But right tackle Andrew Wiley, he deserves this credit. Another guy that deserves the credit, Gilbert, and I put this on Twitter and I meant it wholeheartedly. Dan and Daygo deserved his flowers. He did a great job for us in Super Bowl year 2. He went to the one last year. He killed it this year. He stepped up his game. He did even better. So let's go to him now and see what he's doing. Let's see what he's got cooking up.
Welcome one, welcome all.
To another glorious. Why, hello there. Your boy Dan and Daygo is back just with a quick reminder. Do not forget to go on Compas on the Beat, the YouTube channel. You can see all of our Radio Row content. You are not going to want to miss that. We talked to so many amazing guests. We got Tony Khan. What? We got lightweight, heavyweight champion Jamal Hill. What? We got Austin Eckler. What? Sean Merriman. What? We got a stupendous list of guests. So be sure to go over there. We also got Tyler Dragon. He was a homie dropping some knowledge, some breaking news. So be sure to go over there and check out all those great interviews. And don't forget, you got to go over. We got a little bit of everything. Make sure you go check out House of Horns. What? Go check out What's Up, Bolts. What? Go check out Combat Compass. What? Go check out the regular Compas on the Beat. What? And the Champions is back. So if you love everything about the Champions League, do not forget to go check out Compas FC. The lads have got you covered. And also, we're everywhere on the Twitter at Compas OTB. The OTB is capital. What? On the Instagrams at Compas on the Beat. What? On the TikToks at Compas on the Beat. What? Do not forget to go out there and check out the little documentary we put up. It was amazing. It was an amazing week. We couldn't have done it without any of you. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the love. Shout out to all of you. Let's get back to the program. There goes Dan delivering that great stuff for us as always. Is there something that guy can do? Obviously, Gilbert, it is time for rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Pretty good or no? Okay.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, no, that's good. There you go. It looks like a little Dragon Ball Z, but hey, I'm all for it. I'm all about that stuff. Exactly. Gilbert, there is talk around the NFL that they are considering not making these coaches, like that you can't speak to the coaches, you can't do anything until after the Super Bowl. Is that smart or is that dumb? What says you?
Okay, so no interviews, right? Nothing like that.
Nope.
Just
Nope.
you wait.
Yeah.
It's tough because if you're the losing team, you want that extra advantage. But then also, if you're the losing team, you shouldn't get rewarded, right? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go smart. Don't reward the bad teams getting a head start, but then the bad teams kind of need it more. But then I hate it for the ones that are winning. The coordinators have to wait, and then they forget about you. I say wait. It's smart. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth, but yeah.
I think if a guy is your guy and he's still in it, then you have to wait. But I think this is dumb. I mean,
Okay.
Can you imagine telling teams you have to wait a month and in
Yeah.
2 weeks, the combine? How are you going to know who to scout, who the head coach is going to be, all that? So I just think it creates a huge mess, a mess that the NFL does not want. And there's no way I could see this happening. I think teams would really refute something like this.
Okay. For the first time in rapid fire history, I'm changing my answer to dumb. Sorry.
There you go. All right, that's fine. No, I completely agree
I was
with
trying
you.
to think
All right,
outside the
Gilbert.
box. You're right.
Chiefs head coach Andy Reid says he is going to stick around instead of taking the Super Bowl win and retiring. Smart or dumb?
No, it's smart. This guy still has plenty of life. You know, he was dropping zingers left and right throughout Super Bowl week in Arizona. A lot of you could drop. What was the line? He doesn't drink coffee.
He's like, I don't drink coffee, which I don't either. He's like, I got chubby, that chubby guy energy. Yep. Yeah, chubby guys for the win.
Until he starts drinking coffee, that means he's done. So no, keep doing what you're doing, Andy Reid.
Bro, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce under contract, and you have most of that offensive line under contract. Why the hell would you want to do anything else?
Young defense too.
Young defense. Andy Reid probably feels younger than what he looks, so I'm sure they're bringing in life to him. And Andy Reid's always been loved by his players. So if I'm Andy Reid, I'm sticking with it, and let's keep it going until the wheels fall off. So I'm with you.
Didn't you meet Andy Reid at Super Bowl Radio? I forgot about that.
Oh, well, yeah. Yes, I did. Very good. Very cool guy. Chubby energy. That's what we're all about. Gilbert, last week, Commissioner Roger Goodell said that officiating has, and I quote, never been better. Smart or dumb by the commissioner?
Yeah, no, dumb. At least just be like, hey, we're still looking at things. Give the safe answer. Not never been better. Get out of here. How many plays that were blown throughout the whole season? And then the biggest game of the year, you kind of have some kind of controversy with the flag on Bradbury, and we could debate about that another time. But when Bradbury said, hey, it was a flag, what else can you do? But yeah, there you cannot call it the better than ever officiating in the NFL. Get out of here with that.
Roger, you're up there. You're getting roasted by every single media member. and you decide, oh, it's never been better. Like that was the headline. That and what obviously the great Jim Trotter asked him about minorities continuing in places of being in the higher ups, but obviously like officiating is terrible, and they need to move into something else. I mean, what happened with Joey Bosa and that official should never have happened. The official runs back at him and yells at him and says, "Why don't you say that again?" Joey says it again, and then he gets flagged. Like that should never happen. They're supposed to be the adults in the room, and sometimes they behave more worse than children, in my opinion. But
Next
I
year,
digress.
you tell Roger that and ask him a question.
Yeah, right. I've tried to sign up for that list, and you never get picked. They're only going to pick the. Well, you can now ask that question. No. BS. Don't try and hide. I'll ask the question. You be my mouthpiece, and you go up there and do your thing.
As long as I
Gilbert,
say from Fernando.
there you go. If you're no, Gilbert, Eric Bieniemy is said to be the favorite to land the Washington Commanders OC job. There's also there's rumblings that he may be still in line for the Arizona Cardinals job. But after winning 2 rings, is it time for him to now show what he's got?
Yeah, like I don't know what the heck is going on with Bieniemy, and I get it. He probably wants to go and become a head coach. He doesn't want to go from offensive coordinator to next offensive coordinator. But at some point where you're not getting these jobs, you got to try something else. It sucks for him, and I don't even know what's going on with his history or what people are looking into. But if it's not working, if you really want to be a head coach, go do what you're doing in KC and do it somewhere else without Patrick Mahomes. You turn that Commanders team into an efficient offense, then you're getting a job.
That's what I've heard. That's what it is. That people are like, well, you don't have Patrick, but it's not like Patrick Mahomes is going with them to wherever they're going, so they don't know.
You can't look over at Andy Reid and say, "Hey, Andy, give me some advice here."
Yeah, so they I think it would work in Baltimore. I think it would work maybe if Kyler Murray adjusts and stops being what Tyler Dragon told us he was. Go check that out, by the way, on YouTube, Compas on the Beat. But yeah, no, I think Eric Bieniemy, I think it's time just to really to give everybody what they want. Let Eric Bieniemy now go show what he's got. I think it's time for him to show, hey, either he's got it or he doesn't, and it's going to be interesting to see what.
It'll be interesting if he gets that job in Arizona, but I don't see it for some reason.
I don't think anybody wants. I don't think anybody wants to coach Kyler Murray and his. I don't even think people want to coach him on Call of Duty, to be honest. Gilbert, if you're Andy Reid and you just won the Super Bowl, where would you want your cheeseburger from?
Oh, definitely. This is easy. In and out. I'm a California boy. I've had White Castle in Indy. I've had Whataburger in Texas. There's a lot of weird places in Arizona that Arizona had that you said were from the Midwest that I probably need to try. But nothing that's top In and Out for me. There you go, Culver's. Nothing tops In and Out for me.
Oh, we'll try it at the Combine. I think there's a Culver's there in
let's see.
in Indy, so we can try it. There you go.
Yeah, I like Whataburger, but it's not up there.
Andy Reid needs to go to Chula Vista to the residential home of Fernando Ramirez, and he'll make him the best damn cheeseburger he's ever had. Double, triple, whatever he wants. Dan and Daygo's always raving about my burgers, about the way I cook. So I think Andy Reid should just come over, kick it here. The Compas will chill with him. You can bring Travis Kelce if you want. Patrick Mahomes. Leave
I don't know about Mahomes,
Patrick's wife. And no, and leave Jackson out there too. Nobody wants either one of them.
Hey, by the way, we were honored to see Jackson Mahomes in action.
You were honored
right in front of us. Like
you were honored.
He even blew a kiss too.
Oh God, it was terrible.
It was Gilbert, like spotting like the Bigfoot, and I'm like, damn, look that way. It's like Jackson Mahomes doing a TikTok. What a privilege and an honor.
Gilbert, Rihanna's halftime show. Just like everything in America, some people hated it, some people loved it. What letter grade would you give it?
I'll give it an A. I enjoyed the songs, I enjoyed the performance, and then also she's pregnant. What do you expect her to do? She was on a freaking platform, whatever 1,000 feet above the air. If I'm not gonna be pregnant, obviously, because that sounded weird. I'm a man. I can't do that. But but if I was up there, baby or not, I'm not going up there. There you go. I don't know what's going on there. It's like if I didn't have a baby, I wouldn't even do it. But I can't,
All right, I give it a C-. I did not enjoy it. I was hoping for more. I was like, okay, here comes Drake, Eminem. They're bringing somebody down. Here they come. Nothing. That's the only reason why I was kind of that's the only reason why I was a little. I mean, hey, she's pregnant. Kudos to her. She still did it. She went out. She sang some good songs, but it made me want more. Like I wanted somebody to come out and kind of do something. I thought it would have been fun. Then I heard Jay-Z was in the building. I'm like, oh, maybe it's gonna be Jay-Z. Like what? And then she started singing a couple of songs where her and Jay-Z are in there, and nothing. So I'm like, okay,
See, Fernando,
like,
but
whatever. So,
I'm the opposite. Like last year with the whole, Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, whatever it was, there were so many guys doing one song. I'm like, I want more. Give me your full catalog here. And with Rihanna, you got the full performance. See, I was opposite.
See, but I wanted like one, like her and Drake would have been perfect.
That's true.
Or her and Eminem would have been perfect. Like
you
just
can't have
one
Drake
person
anymore
come out.
because
Well, yeah,
Drake's
yeah.
a homewrecker and she already has 2 kids.
Well, whatever. I mean, that doesn't matter. But hey, just give me one person to come out, and Drake would probably be like, been there, done that. So give me somebody, bring me somebody out. That's the only reason why I got a little frustrated. But the whole Super Mario, Super Smash Brothers thing, that was pretty cool. The way they were moving all that stuff. But other than that, I gave it a C-. I just want
to be up in the air that had like your Shawn Michaels and WrestleMania. I was scared, man. I'm
by
afraid
the way,
of heights, that's why.
Shout out to Jim Trotter, who did you see that video of him or no?
And they're not. What do you have?
Okay, so Jim Trotter, he sees her in the back, and he goes, "Rihanna, you killed the damn thing." She goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much, Boo." And he's like, "I am now switching my name to Boo Trotter."
Did you get that on video, or you just tweeted it?
Yeah, he has it on video.
Whoa.
I'll try and pull it up right now.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, Gilbert. Last question. Did you? So we're gonna go a little boxing here. I don't know if you heard. But Gervonta Davis was at the Super Bowl yesterday, and he was seen in a wheelchair. He needed a wheelchair to get around the stadium after suffering an ankle injury, but he tells TMZ he expects to be okay. Gilbert, should boxing fans be nervous?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be like
are the trades starting already?
I don't know, man. Sometimes you got to promote the fight in weird ways, and maybe he's tired and he got a wheelchair and he got attention on the fight. But yeah, maybe a little worried because he was legit needing a wheelchair, or unless you're doing a Paul Pierce, you should be concerned for this fight with Ryan Garcia. April 15 in Las Vegas, according to Steven Espinosa from Showtime Sports.
Man, I'm telling you, if this is already messing with that, I think people are going to be very disappointed. And it's just going to take a little bit out of people, but hey, we'll see what happens. Gilbert, real quick before we head to our next thing, just wanted to show I'm quick with it, Gilbert. I told you. Here it goes. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Reid, you killed it.
That's awesome. Good.
He's like, "Guess who just called me Boo?"
Reid, you killed it.
Jim Trotter. I never thought Jim would be a fan, would fan out like that. But look at that. That was awesome.
Well, that's what I'm guessing. Like he enjoyed the halftime show so much that he went into the tunnels to catch that video. So,
yep, I guess he did. But man, I just think it's so awesome to hear him. Like him geeking out. Like because Jim, I know Jim. For him to geek out, like, isn't that pretty funny to hear him do that?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's why I'm saying it was an A performance. It's in the proof. Okay.
Your nightmare has arrived, Gilberto. I'm your Freddy Krueger. You are now on Elm Street. How are you?
My nightmare? Do you remember who won last weekend at Super Bowl?
Who won? Oh,
yeah. That's
you
your nightmare.
Want to get me started? Seriously, I was trying to come in with some positivity.
You just said nightmare.
It was a nice week. I had a good day, and here you go. You know what? Don't get me started on that because I was trying to come in and actually say something nice about you, but now you're making me rethink it. I just wanted to say, obviously, congratulations on your new job and everything else. And it's just funny though how when you get to certain areas, you always remember the grind. You never think about you finally there. You know what I mean? You remember those long nights where those late nights and early mornings when you were grinding, doing stuff, thinking, holy crap, am I ever going to, advance? And just to the listener out there, I think if Gilberto, Fernando, or myself, and Vic, when he's here, if it shows you anything, everybody's path is different and you got to just take your time and,
You can't think about a lot of people always think about the outcomes and don't realize how much of a grind it is to get there. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to say congrats to you, pal, my bud. Yeah, I saw you getting teary-eyed earlier in the program. So I was like, all right, I'll come in here. I'll give him some. That's why I want to give flowers from Super Bowl Radio Row and everything else. I want to give our favorite stooge and scumbag his flowers. It's almost Valentine's. Oh, no. When this drops, it is past Valentine's Day. So there you go, my love. There you go. Tus flores, my love.
You know what really made me cry was your wrap-up video with Super Bowl Radio Row. And that right there was a reminder, like, it was 1 week, but that showed the type of work because, you know, Fernando, let's just say we didn't go to parties because when you're up at 6 a.m, having to do a 7:30 interview or whatever 5, and then sometimes you don't even know who's going to show up, but you got to be there just in case to get that big interview. And we got turned down, we got stood up many times, but we're out there creating content. Doesn't matter who's going to be there. So that video right there was a reminder, and I put in the caption, it's very damn rewarding. So that's kind of a summary of what we go. There you go. That's a summary of what we go through, us three, because even you, Dan, like, you're doing the teaching, you're doing the coaching. There's some late hours there too, I know. So for all of us, you got to keep going through your path. And I think that last week was a reminder of how it's done. It's a grind, but also very rewarding. And also to do what you two guys here and Victor, they're going to cry. But it's definitely a special moment for the whole memories too.
Well, I mean, if I can just real quick share this, I mean, we got a text today I got a text from, I'm not going to say from who, but it just said, great to meet you and work with you. You and your team have a fun style of doing interviews. But we want to continue working with you guys. Like, and this is a pretty high-ranking official where, I mean, I'm obviously, I'm not going to go into details about that, but that, like, for us, like, that was incredible to hear something like that. Because, I mean, obviously, like Gilbert said, we got stood up. There were some big-time players that we went up to that we tried to ask for. There was some, and we're gonna be real with you. We're not gonna say, oh, we got everybody that we wanted. No, like there were some hits, there were some misses, but there were some great people. Rolf Bernerski and Willie Buchanan.
I love
they
those
sat
guys.
down with us. They were awesome. Willie kept on coming back for Daniel's chocolate raisins. He kept on coming back and wanting to. He'd walk by and be like, "Let me get some," and Dan and Daygo would run over and give some. So just because we had a lot of misses doesn't mean that we didn't get hits, and the hits that we got were pretty awesome. So I'm definitely, and I know I was kind of down a little bit on Thursday and a little bit on Friday, but other than that, but then seeing Dan and Daygo's video, seeing all this other stuff, you're like, you know what? No, like it shouldn't be like that. Like it was a positive week, and hey, next year, man, I'm so excited for Vegas and I mean, I'm even excited about what we have coming up, Gilbert, with some of the events that we're trying to go to, because I feel like people are noticing the grind that we're putting in, and they're noticing that we're using our own time. I mean, we have jobs, but at the same time, we're using our own time to push this through and to get this going. So I feel like people are starting to take notice, and I'm really excited about that, because they're noticing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, 2 points real quick off of that, because some people like to go for the big names. They want to get the views and they want to get the subs on YouTube or whatever, or go viral. And they bypass people like Rolf and Willie, 2 former Chargers. Willie Buchanan was a Packers Hall of Famer. These guys, I love to hear the stories about their playing days and then what they're doing now. And like for me to sit there and listen to what they're doing to kind of tell people, hey, go get checked out, fight heart disease, like that's stuff that matters. And I know it's not gonna do well on the internet or whatever, but to see those 2 guys and how much they like each other to do that and how happy they were, that was cool for me. And the other point was like, Dan and Daygo, I wasn't a scumbag this time, but people were ripping you for the raisins, the chocolate. I thought they were good, but all that matters, Dan, is if one person likes them. Willie coming through, you hooked him up with the raisins, and he was happy about it.
That's right. That's what it's all about. That's why I told you, like last year, the first year we went, you were like, "Why do you have snacks on the table?" I'm like, bro, it's all about feeling like you're at home with some snacks with your compas. Don't worry about it. It's all gonna work out. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's obviously teamwork makes the dream work. That's awesome. Dan, thank you for choosing the power of positivity today, like the New Day from WWE. Obviously, just to let you guys know, Dan and Daygo is having some technical difficulties. You can hear him, you just can't see him. I know you guys like seeing that smile, that cowboy hat, those sunglasses, but it's probably going to be It's not going to be that well. So, and look at him. He already moved and he's already
He already
frozen.
froze.
But Dan,
Now I'm AJ Hawk.
What was your takeaway from the Super Bowl?
So this was my takeaway from the Super Bowl, right? Let me just first off start by saying I think, Frown, you hit the nail on the head. Andy Reid, I think, is a hell of a coach. He did the right thing by getting the offensive line going and everything else. And if you notice also, he said what I've been saying to do all season. Maybe he's a fan, I don't know. When you face these type of defensive fronts that are elite, you have got to keep them guessing whether you're going to counter, whether you're going to have pullers, whether you're going to have inside zone, outside zone, stretch, RPOs, everything else. And he did that. And you noticed that in the second half because they had no answer. And that's why, Patrick Mahomes, the two or three touchdowns he had, they were wide open. Like, he didn't even need to do anything except get it to him. And the only thing is this, right? I understand he only passed for less than 200 yards. It wasn't a sexy game for him, but it was clean. And it was what he needed to do in my mind. That especially the way he's had Super Bowls in the past, I think now that shows his maturation, that he knows how important the game is, and he's not going to risk having turnovers. And, the Jalen Hurts turnover in my mind is inexcusable. Like, either take the sack or ball security is job security. That to me is inexcusable. I think that really did play a bigger part than people want to admit. But, I think the thing that bothers me about this is, we were robbed of potentially two things this Super Bowl. If Patrick Mahomes completes that pass and it's a touchdown, it is what it is. Hey, you got to give credit to the guy. He won the Super Bowl. He made a great play. He iced the game. It is what it is. He won the Super Bowl. That's what was stolen because of that's what was stolen essentially because of a late penalty. And I think the other thing that was stolen, the late penalty, is essentially a potential of Jalen Hurts really showing he's on the scene, that he is one of the best in the NFL and everything else. Because a minute 15 and one timeout, I have no problem in my mind thinking he's going to march down the field and score. And so in my mind, I think personally the penalty was soft. I think it was within 5 yards. So I thought within 5 yards you can bump a run and be a little more physical, but apparently not. I think the other thing is I hate to say it, but it's like in the past two Super Bowls, the officials played a determining factor in who was the outcome of the game. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not saying the Chiefs didn't deserve to win by any means. Like I just said, Patrick Mahomes played an excellent game. He did what he needed to do. He was efficient. He got rid of the ball. He knew when to run. And, it is what it is. I just think that well,
this is what Gilbert wanted.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why America lost, because you saw Brittany and Jackson on TV the whole time.
I don't know about the brother trying to take his brother's moment, but it was funny video to see.
6'6". He's like 6'6". Why is he just filming videos? What a waste. But anyway, the other thing is this. Mind you, I wouldn't take Mahomes over Herbert, Burrow, and some of these other guys, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you have consistency.
You got to end like that, huh?
And of course I did. I'm not gonna give it all the whole time. I would never take
Dad, give him credit where it's due. Finally,
no. I give credit. I already did. All I'm saying is that look what happens when you have continuity in a Hall of Fame head coach. And I thought I had something else, and of course the scumbag interrupts me, and I forgot. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Your brother stopped you, not me.
You hate to see those things late. But
by the way,
it sucks for them.
I kind of feel like the you guys heard about what the Kelsey brothers said to each other. I kind of feel like that would be Dan and Daygo and me. So they said that when Jason Kelsey went up to Travis, he went "F you, congratulations."
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But he gave him a hug and he said "F you, congratulations."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's the Dan and Daygo."
Jason looked mad at first.
You have to be.
I mean,
what are
disappointed?
you talking about? You have to be.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then it's like, oh, that's my brother. I got a big old smile.
Yeah, like he obviously was happy for his brother and everything, but at the same time, you are disappointed because you did just lose the Super Bowl, and a Super Bowl you thought you could win, and they probably thought coming in, hey, we have a great game plan, we're gonna take it to those guys. But really, I feel like what nobody's talking about either, is the Eagles defense did not show up at all. Like
No.
I was
Watch your
expecting,
burial.
like,
Don't give away your burial
Yeah,
unless
I
we're
know.
going to.
oh well,
it.
yeah, that's true. My
Yeah.
bad. Okay,
Real quick,
ahead.
Dan, before we move on, because I know it doesn't matter right now, especially in hindsight's 2020, but it kind of bothered me a little bit that they had that walk-in touchdown with Jerry McKinnon and they stopped to kill the clock. But I'm like, sometimes like you can't trust those kickers, or you get a bad snap or
Yeah.
a fumble. I'm like, take the touchdown. What did you think about that, Dan? Real quick.
No, I totally would have. I here's why I would have taken it, right? Because I think if he scores, there's still like either a minute or a minute 50. No, maybe there's 50 seconds. I don't
It was
remember.
a good amount.
But
It was a
it's
good
like,
amount.
yeah, I think it was a good amount. And I don't know. I think they'd already used their timeout. But anyway, I thought what he did was appropriate. You kneel, you go, you kneel, you take 2 knees, and then kick the chip shot. It is what it is. You have to be smart. Also, you have to play the numbers game.
You've seen some dumb kicks, though, Dan. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, but bro, think about it. Say they block the kick. I don't think they're going to return it. That's rare. That's rare and far between. I'll take that chance and go into overtime.
All right. Let's hear the coach.
Because you remember when that happened against the Giants, Brady marched down the field a little bit.
Good point.
I think he did march.
That is true.
You want to have the ball last too. But I was just curious.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to have the ball last. Yeah, because think about it like this. Also, you kick the field goal with a few seconds left. If you have a few seconds left, you want it to be on the kickoff because there's no way they're going to really get it. Which I'm surprised they didn't kick it deep, like to like the 5 or something like that. But I feel like he was robbed, and I mean it is what it is. That sucks. I would have loved to have seen Jalen Hurts with 1:15 left.
We're gonna bury some people.
Yeah, people.
Should I start the motorcycle?
Hey, he did that a couple of days ago too.
Sponsored. He's trying to get sponsored by Harley Davidson over here.
Yeah, let's get Harley Davidson to sponsor us.
Imagine
It is time for burial. It's time for burial of the week. Dan, because you've done such a great job. You've only been on here for a couple of minutes, but you've been doing such a great job. We're gonna let you go first.
Oh, I'm doing a great job, even though you can't see me.
Yeah.
Wave.
Yeah, you're fine. Your eloquent voice is doing enough for us.
I have a radio voice. I have the beautiful radio voice. Hello, how are you doing, listeners out there? Tonight, let me tell you what we're going to be talking about with Dan and Daygo. Anyway, my burial of the week, this is what I can't stand. Call me old-fashioned like I tell this stooge when I play football. Well, guess what? Off the field, call me old-fashioned also. If I tell you I'm going to show up to a damn thing, I'm going to be there, even though I don't want to be there, if that makes sense. I'm a man of my word. You know what I mean? Like, I, as a person myself, think if my word means nothing, then I mean nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have good character. I don't have good morals if my word doesn't mean anything. So it's like one day when hopefully we rise through the ranks and it's our turn, if someone asks me, hey, Dan and Daygo at Radio Row, can you come on? I'm going to say, yeah, bro, I have no problem. I'll be there. Yeah. And guess what? I'm going to show up. I'm not going to ghost you because it's not like we're asking them for their bank accounts, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, and whatever else. It's not like we're asking, to go out on a date with these people or whatever. We just want to talk. We just want to talk, have a little conversation.
Want to take some pictures.
That's right. That's about it. Just take a few pictures, have a little quick conversation. That's about it. Nothing unusual, nothing standard, nothing that's not standard, nothing weird. And, the other thing is, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but I needed to bring this up or else I'm going to explode. I just love the fact how you guys are helping each other up and this and that. I love that little speech you gave about the ladder frown and Gilberto. It's good to see that not everybody acts like George Lopez, so that's pretty good to see right there. I needed to work that in.
I've been seeing that on TikTok, yeah.
Not everyone's a scumbag. I need to remember that. You know what? Let's bury George Lopez.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
you're trying to bury other Hispanics because of whatever stupid reason.
Because he wants to be the only one.
I've never understood that. I've always lived by this kind of type of quote type thing. It's like, show me a person who treats someone who he has no benefit from, and that is a real person right there. If you talk to people, that's why I treat everyone with respect. Like, I shake hands of the janitor the same way I would shake hands with the CEO of a company. And that's the way I was raised. And it's just crazy to me to see these people who are like, oh no, just because I had it hard, let me just kill all these people and make it harder for them. Like, it's ridiculous. Or hold them down. Just like for now, Zero, John Cena, but it is what it is.
Hey,
and just to say something nice.
He's going to be in Fast and Furious 10.
And oh yeah,
A
I saw that
garbage
trailer.
franchise.
It looked terrible. Real quick,
no, it
just
was
to say
amazing.
some nice things about Dan. When people came over and who pretty much had no interest in on Compas on the Beat, and they were like, "Hey, what are you guys about? What is the Compas about?" And
Campus.
they're trying to fill you out. And you spoke to people respectfully, like, "Hey, this is what we were about," and then sometimes you just walk away and didn't care. But
Yeah.
you were nice, you were kind, and you had the good
He
pitch
sold
there.
it.
Yeah, you sold it. And then the other thing too, Dan, you're right. Uh, we were told, hey, we're going to bring over this person to interview with you guys or so and so, and then they never showed up, and it kind of sets us back because we're playing the waiting game. We don't want to double book because they told us they're going to come
Exactly.
over. So the least you could do is say, hey, you know what? To be honest, or guest or person or client, it's tired. There's too many
Talent.
interviews.
Here
We're
comes the
not coming
talent.
over. Yeah, the talent is here.
The
Just be like,
talent
hey,
is here.
just be like, hey, the talent's tired. The talent's not coming over, so plan accordingly. That would be nice, but we couldn't even get that. So, but if we were ever publicists, Dan or Fernando, or like you mentioned, Dan, if somebody wants to have an
What are you
interview,
talking about? We're talent. We're
yeah, we're
talent, guy. What
talent.
are you
The
talking about?
talent is here. The
Publicists.
talent has
Yeah.
arrived. So if
We'll
somebody wants
come
to
talk to
interview,
you.
somebody wants to
Yeah.
interview with me, and I can't make it, or something happened, I will let you know I can't make it. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
even if it's like last minute, just I'll tell you whatever. But you're right there, and but yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Go ahead, Gilbert.
Yeah, so continuing to bury the Phoenix Convention Center, or the Phoenix as a host, but it's a good host. But I was going into Radio Row with high hopes for the Phoenix Convention Center because the LA Convention Center had us starving. We were dehydrated. There was nowhere to get any food or water, simple basic necessities. But everything else was good. It was perfect. We had more guests. People were actually stuck to their words most of the time. The Wi-Fi worked, and Phoenix, besides having coffee available and water and really expensive food, Dan they had a run when Tony Khan came over to the table there. But they have stuff like that. So point to Phoenix there for the food and Dan and Daygo's speed there. But in terms of Wi-Fi, it was terrible. It wasn't working. We had to work like Dan and Daygo's terrible Wi-Fi. That's a perfect example. Good to play up the burial of the week. That was our Wi-Fi, and for the most part, we adjusted. Yeah, we kind of screamed at each other, "Hey, get this to going." Me and Victor got into it, but we made it work. And Phoenix did not make it easier. And me, Victor, and Dan walk over to the Ethernet station, which we couldn't find for a while. Right, we were trying. It's like a treasure hunt. And then we finally find the table thanks to somebody's help, who was supposed to be the tech station, who sent us somewhere else. So that was a whole little issue there. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, you want Ethernet? Which deal do you want? The $6,000 deal or the $4,000 deal?" I'm like, let me think about it. Obviously, I wasn't gonna do it.
Is this the Price is Right?
I was like, "What is this?"
You should have seen his face.
I was
Am I
like,
supposed to guess the price?
"I'm like,
Yeah.
you mean pesos? Or what are you talking about here?"
Yeah, exactly. Yen.
But who knew that Ethernet costs that much? But I get it. Like when you can make a quick buck on these big media stations, it's easy. But when it's the little guys like us, we got pretty screwed over. But we made it work, so I'm not gonna complain too much. But do better, and that won't be an issue in Vegas. I know it.
Nope.
I will be trashing the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense, to me, I thought the Eagles defense was going to be a lot better than what they did. They showed up, no sacks. And I mean, that's just kudos to the Chiefs offensive line. They did a great job. That's why I told you, I sincerely believe that the offensive line should have gotten the MVP yesterday.
Of course
or
they
on
should have.
Sunday for the but I mean, they're not going to get the recognition that they deserve because obviously it's a quarterback driven league, receivers, the flashy
It's
players.
idiotic.
But I mean, it is what it is. There's not much I can say about it, but I just thought the secondary didn't do that well. I thought the linebackers, some of the linebackers didn't do as well again. My other question is, why the hell if we've already seen Travis Kelce is 31 years old, why in the hell does nobody double team him? Why? Like, I'd rather take my chances against Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and some of those other guys and take my chances against Travis Kelce. I'd rather double Travis Kelce the whole damn game and let somebody else beat me than Travis Kelce beat me. So I'm still, there's only one guy that can actually cover Travis Kelce, but other than that, there's just nobody that can really take him on. Then why the hell are you not double teaming him? So that is my burial. I just the Eagles defense had a poor performance, and I just didn't think they played up to their normal standards.
Then they don't jam him off the line. They just let him. They just let him free release whenever he wants. And this is the other thing. I think any head coaching prospect that I think the defensive coordinator is Gus Johnson, right, or something like that.
No,
the Eagles.
No, for the Eagles.
Oh, no,
Jonathan
Gannon.
Gannon.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Why do you think Johnson all day?
Is it Gus Johnson like an announcer or PA guy?
I don't know. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, any head
Johnson
coaching
does it for like
prospect,
ESPN or one of those. He's a good announcer though.
any head coaching prospect Jonathan Gannon had, he can kiss that crap goodbye, dude. Like that was a terrible. If you seriously look at that defense with one single motion from 2x2 to him coming kind of stacked, they had no idea. They had no idea what they were doing at the secondary level. You just saw Slay yelling and pointing, and then they both got lost. And that's how they were so open. And it's like, it's crazy. They had no adjustments, no game plan in the second half.
You know the funny thing, Dan and Fernando, they hired Vic Fangio for 2 weeks as a consultant, and that didn't even work. So, and I'm like, maybe next time they could hire Derwin James for 2 weeks to how to defend
to play safety.
Exactly. Exactly. That'd be funny.
Good points, though. But
Gilbert, is it okay if we keep Dan for una más?
Yeah, why not? Because I don't even know what you have. So
all right,
what you got?
Well, I've been failing the last few weeks, so obviously I want to do better. Listen to this. So we all know that Sean Payton is now the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. Look at who he's pitching to try and get to come over to his team.
Important. First off, I know he's supposed to be in gray, but I want him in a navy blue suit, and I want him in a matching orange tie. This is huge because I'm recruiting. I think he's going to like. Don't you think he'll like this T-shirt? I mean, we put the G instead of the B, and I'm working on changing our name to the Denver Broncos. But I really, really, really am counting on favor all of you. Please, orange tie, navy suit.
Oh, yeah, totally. The Denver Broncos? 100%.
This is so terrible. That literally, if you have to beg a 37 or whatever year-old retired
he's like 34.
Who cares? To come out of retirement to be your saving come out of retirement and be your saving grace, that just tells you have huge problems in Denver right there.
I hope he was joking. I don't know. Did it seem like he was joking? The Broncos?
No, that was a pretty big plea.
Or remember earlier, or I think 8 weeks through the season, Gronk did text Brady and say, "Hey, I'm bored. I'm thinking about coming out of retirement." He called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are like, "Dude, either you're in or you're out. Like, what the hell? Stop playing with our emotions." And that Gronk didn't get back to them in time, so they were like, "F it." So they just didn't bring him back. But I just thought that was bad. I don't know why he would.
It was cringe. So cringe.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, that's so weird.
Besides the name Broncos, everything else is bad.
Like Sean Payton, you're a Super Bowl winning head coach. You were, essentially one bad call away from going to another one. Like, have some self-respect, my guy. You revived a freaking New Orleans Saint franchise whose fans put paper bags over their heads, for God's sake, to go to games so people wouldn't identify him in the stands. Like, come on, have some self-respect.
Speaking of the New Orleans Saints, I just remembered your interaction with Drew Brees. It had me dying the whole weekend.
Oh my God, yeah, so embarrassing in front of essentially a Hall of Famer.
You gotta let me have that video. It's like a poster somewhere.
You have it.
I was dying. Sorry.
Send it to him. I don't care.
That whole sequence was hilarious.
Oh, the whole thing with Pat McAfee too. We were right there to see that.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
I was in the video.
To defend them.
Gilbert and Dan,
I was in the video.
You guys know that he was.
I didn't see
you could see him taking a video of it. You guys know that obviously there are some people that try and take advantage of football players, of NBA players, of wrestlers. They try and go to the airports, they track the flight. I don't know how they can do this. They track certain flights and
they get the numbers
and everything. And they do everything to try and get autographs so they can sell them online. Gilbert, you and I were both there, and Dan, I think you were there too when Drew Brees was signing autographs as a part of the Saints at Chargers, and the fence fell over, and they're like, "Hey, okay." So is this right or wrong? Rey Mysterio refusing to sign autographs for fans at the airport. Here's the video. You tell me if this is right or wrong by Ray.
They don't let us do shit like this anymore. So I'm signing for you guys to make it.
And we appreciate it. Honestly.
Ray, I've been a fan since I was a little kid, man.
The fans come up and ask.
Is that gonna work?
That's why I'll sign one.
I'm a huge fan, man.
I signed one for you.
There you go. He compromised. He said one.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, I'll sign one. But these guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. I've seen this once. They have a cardboard box cut out with like 10 Funkos on them or whatever those things are called, 3 or 4 pictures, and they want him to sign every single item on there. and Ray's like, I'll sign one thing for you. But is it fair or is it foul, Dan?
Obviously, it's fair. I would have told him to go to hell. I'm not going to sign it so they can sell it. That's a difference, right? That's a difference. Now, real quick, all of a sudden, CM Punk isn't such a bad guy. You remember when he talked about this in the the pipe bomb, the ones who find him at the airports. But this is my thing, right? Like I've always said it. Yeah, if some scumbag comes up to me with 10 things set out with a photo of me to try and sell, yeah, I'm going to tell him to go to hell, dude. No, I'm good. But like, say it's a training camp type atmosphere, and people are like, "Oh, can you take a picture? Can you sign?" I'm gonna stay there and sign the whole time because that's who I am. You know what I mean? Like like I said, when we keep growing and everything else, and God willing, we'll reach that type of level. I'm gonna sign and take pictures for everybody because like my 10-second interaction might make their day. You know what I mean? Like just a little inside baseball. I had about, for the most part, a few. During Radio Row, I'd randomly find Pat McAfee in the bathroom. We both have small bladders together, apparently. And those little 10-second interactions where it's like we're smoking and joking, or we get to do this with them, or like whatever. Like to me, obviously to him, it's like another person just talking to him. To me, that was my highlight of the week, the year, and everything else. So obviously, like if it was that type of atmosphere and I could make someone's day, I would do it. But not if some stooge is trying to make money off of it. Yeah, right. Get the hell out of here.
Should I do the voice of Dan meeting Pat McAfee for the first time? Oh, Mr. Pat, I can't believe you're here. Okay, sorry.
First off, why do I sound like Mario?
I make you sound like the nanny from Family Guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, you make me sound like Lemon Flash.
But yeah, I think
I was
it's
excited.
I can side with Rey Mysterio because like one, like what are we doing here? How old are you guys? Some like for you to sell these these overpriced items. Yeah, you're old and you're probably shoving kids out of the way too at some point. But the other part is kind of like I kind of respect the hustle because you want to make some money. Maybe those guys have families to feed, whatever. For you to stay at the airport that long, maybe you need the money. I don't know. But I'm with Rey Mysterio because they have 20 things. Like, come on, just get 1 or 2. Keep it moving. I respect your time being out here waiting for me. But we can't be doing this all day when I'm trying to get going too. So that's why I never judge. Real quick, athletes who say no because you don't know the full story or what's going on.
No, and not just that. Sometimes they're out with their families having dinner, and it's like 15 people are on top. Like one person gets on top of you, then the whole restaurant's going to be on top of you. So I completely understand when they say no and stuff like that happens. But I completely agree with you guys. Thank you guys so much again for watching another episode of Compas on the Beat. This has been our recap of Super Bowl week, Super Bowl weekend, and the game. Just to let you guys know, there will not be an episode next week. Gilbert and I and Dan and Vic will be taking the week off. Much needed, especially with the combine coming up. So we definitely want to let you guys know before anything happens that we will not be having an episode next week. There will be Compas FC though this week and next week, so be on the lookout for that. Champions League soccer is coming back, so Eddie, JC, and I have you. JC, Eddie, and I will have you guys covered on all things Champions League and all these other rumors. Obviously, Compas is coming back in a big way, guys. Again, Jamal Hill, light heavyweight champion of the world. Go check out our interview with him on Combat Compas. Go check out our interview with Tony Khan and see why he cringed when Gilbert talked to him about MJF. And then obviously, we also talked to Victor. No, we also talked to Steven
Steven
Espinoza from
Espinoza.
Showtime. He broke it all down for us about what is coming up next, what's going on in boxing. And if you guys really want to see something funny, I asked him about what it was like to deal with Conor McGregor and Dana White. Make sure you check that stuff out. That stuff is hilarious. He gave us some great sound bites. But again, guys, no show next week. So definitely, but we will be back the week after that before Gilbert and I head to the combine. So we definitely appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for showing us so much love, for checking out the videos. But don't forget, guys, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, we have it all. We put up our videos up there. Make sure you guys go check it all. Like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you be a compa, tell a compa about what the compas did at Radio Row. We appreciate you guys so much. A lot of great content, guys. We're nowhere near done. I know the NFL season's over, but the compas are not done. We still have a lot coming up. WrestleMania is on the way. We may be heading to an AEW event. And there's some other things that we want to check out. So we definitely appreciate you guys so much. For Dan and Daygo, for Gilbert, we appreciate you guys so much. Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.